Morning. Welcome to our commission meeting. Today is the 22nd of May 2018. Present, we have a full board today. Present is Commissioner Gibson to my right, Commissioner Ebert to my left, and I'm Commissioner Harvey. This morning we'll have a moment of silence for instead in place of an invocation. Our Pledge of Allegiance this morning will be given by we're going to ask Senator Jenkins to give us our Pledge of Allegiance this morning, and our thought of the day will be given by Commissioner Ebert. Again, just a moment of silence due to another shooting. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Commissioner Ebert.
Well, many of us, either yesterday or today, will experience an amazing day, which is the day that one of your children graduate from high school. I had a great opportunity, as many others did, to experience that yesterday. And so my thought of the day is from a talk that was given at one of someone's graduation. By all reckoning, the bumblebee is aerodynamically unsound and shouldn't be able to fly. Yet, the little bee gets those wings going like a turbojet and wants to every plant its chubby little body can land on to collect all the nectar it can hold.
I don't get it.
You made a noise. Bumblebees are the most persistent creatures. They don't know they can't fly, so they just keep buzzing around like the lowly bumblebee, honor graduates. Never give in to pessimism. They don't know they can't fly, so they just continue to fly. And if you fly like a bumblebee, you will soar like an eagle. Far too often in our society, we have a tendency to be pessimistic instead of optimistic. And it was great yesterday to see 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 people sitting around all of these youth graduating with complete optimism in their eyes. It's what we live for, and it was just such a great opportunity. So my thought of the day is let's be optimistic, let's believe in ourselves, and let's always fly forward.
Thank you, Commissioner. A lot of great things this week. Before we get to our consent items, I want to give a recognition to the Goal Foundation and another successful Ogden Marathon. They consciously made a decision a year or two ago to move that marathon back a week. Weather was perfect. They had good attendance. A couple of course records were set, and it was just really an amazing event. Special thanks to all of you, or many of you, who volunteered at that event or participated in that event. It was a great event. Brought a lot of communities together, and really it is somewhat inconvenient for some, but for a big majority, it really was a fantastic experience. I'm going to move, Commissioners, on to item number E, was our consent items. They're as follows. The first item is a request for approval of warrants 1434 to 1449 and 428, 289 to 428, I'm going to read it off my tablet. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. So let me go back to consent items. Request for approval of warrants 1434 to 1449 and 428, 289 to 428, 289. That's still inconsistent. Or unless we're just approving one consent item.
Pull up your attachment.
I have that here. Anyway, in the amount of $1,998,420.14. Item number 2, and there is a request for purchase orders in the amount of $82,539 Item 3 is a request for approval of minutes being held on May 15th, 2018. Item 4 is a request for approval of new business licenses. Item 5 is a request from Weber County Sheriff's Office, Homeland Security, for approval to surplus a 2005 Polaris Ranger 6x6. Item 6 is a request for approval of human resources policies, Item 2. Item 3, and item number 7 is a request for Weber County Tax Review Committee for approval of their recommendation to deny a second extension of parcels 03006 and 0040. The warrants, I'll give you one more time. That's item number 1 is 1434 to 1449 and 428289 to 428483. Part of the record. Commissioners, any questions on those?
None for me, Chair.
None being recognized by neither. Mr. Hatch? Thank you.
As far as purchase orders, we issued 14 purchase orders this week for the amount of $83,000. About a quarter of that, or $22,000, was for the conference center, and that will go towards replacing a door, large door. And another quarter is about $20,000 is for the library, and that will go towards purchasing software as well as air filters for buildings. 14% or $12,000 will go to the Golden Spike, and that's primarily concessions. We wrote 211 checks this week for $2 million. 29% of that amount, or $574,000, was about 25 different ramp awards that were issued to various organizations throughout the county. Far West was the largest recipient in this particular disbursement. 10% or $191,000 was the monthly contribution that the county makes to the paramedic fund. 9% or $177,000 is the county's monthly contribution to Weber Human Services. 7%, we had two items at 7% for about $145,000. One was transportation sales tax distribution that went to the 2550 South construction project. And then the other one was purchase of 4 trucks from the fleet, or for the fleet. And then 6% or $112,000 was paid to our public defenders.
Terrific. Commissioners, does that bring up any questions? Okay, none being recognized, then we'll call for some action or a motion.
I'll make a motion we adopt the consent items as read.
Second. I have a motion and a second. There's no more discussion. Call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item F on our agenda are action items. Stephanie Ebert. The first action item is a request for approval of an interlocal agreement by and between Weber County and Morgan County to house Morgan County prisoners and inmates in the Weber County Jail. Ms. Ebert.
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
I am just here to ask, excuse me, for your approval to renew a contract with Morgan County. We house their inmates for them as they do not have a jail. They are one of the few counties in the state of Utah that don't have a jail, and so they bring their inmates to us. And this is just to update some of the costs to house the inmates in our jail. It'll be consistent with the state contract rate, and just to clarify a few just minor items on what the inmates are responsible for when they're there.
And this is a renewal, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Commissioners, any other questions?
We do an awful lot for Morgan County.
Yes. Right now, I think we have about 6 of their inmates. Last year, we averaged around 2 or 3 at any given time, so not too many. We don't house too many.
So, never mind. I was going to make another funny comment, but it's only funny to me, probably. Okay. Commissioners, any other question?
I'll make a motion that we approve the interlocal agreement between Weber and Morgan County.
Thank you for that motion. Have a motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. On to item number 2. Thank you, Jennifer Graham. This is a request for approval of a resolution of the Weber County Commissioners and Weber County appointing 2 members to the Weber County Creative Alliance. Ms. Graham.
Good morning. Yes, this is a fairly new board. We currently have 5 members, and it's been their goal all along to expand to 7 after some thoughtful consideration and some interviews with a couple of different people. They are recommending that Janice Lopez and Todd Sang be appointed to assist with Weber County Creative Alliance.
And their terms expire 4 years from now, correct?
Correct. Yes,
Very
they'll
good.
expire on May 31st of 22.
Commissioners, any question? I'll entertain a motion.
It'll be a resolution 18.
Resolution 18, thank you.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 18, appointing the two individuals listed to the Weber County Creative Alliance.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second for Resolution 18. If there's no more discussion, Fatima, call.
Commissioner Ebert?
Aye.
Commissioner Gibson?
Aye.
And Chair Harvey?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Graham. Mr. Meyerhofer. This is a request for, item number 3 is a request for discussion and or action on a request from Ridge Utah Development to reduce impact fees.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Reduce impact fees.
Correct.
Very
First
good.
off, I apologize for not getting stuck up there and
Senator
not
Jenkins
getting
would like
down
to
here for
speak
the
to you. He'd like to speak
Pledge
to
of
you
Allegiance.
afterwards.
Fine. Yeah, so Commissioners, yeah, what you have before you today is a request to reduce the impact fees for the Ridge Development LLC. They've made that request to the County Commissioners, and it is in our ordinance that they can make that request, and we can adjust these fees due to a couple instances where could respond to unusual circumstances in specific cases and ensure that the impact fees are imposed fairly. So under the current ordinance, it kind of states to take the complete acreage of where this building is going on, which in this case, it's like just a little under 4 acres. Where the building is actually going to sit and the impact to this property is really about 0.15 acres, so a very minimal amount of area. So we feel it's good to reduce it to what the actual impact of the building is rather than the complete property where it's sitting on. So that's the request before you. I think it reduces the amount from about $21,000 down to about $809. So
What is your recommendation?
our recommendation would be to do the reduction just because it's similar to what we've done in the past. To let you know, we are working on updating our impact fees with the stormwater. With our new impact fees, it'll come off of an equivalent service unit, which is defined by a square footage versus an acreage. So it does make a lot more fair assessment to do it as the way we're doing it here as compared to the full acreage of the property.
Great.
Because there's not necessarily stormwater impact on bare land.
Correct. It's going to remain natural just the way it's been for years. So,
Commissioners, any other questions? Then I'll entertain a motion.
Really quickly, the only question I have is that there's the storm drain summary of impact, and there's also a roadways summary of impact. Did you calculate both of those in there, or just the storm drain to get to the 800?
so the only thing that's being brought before you
Just
right now presently is
the
just
storm
for the
drain.
storm drain. The roads impact fee is still going to remain what it currently is on here. There's no
Doesn't change.
reduction on it.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, great.
I'll make a motion to approve the request from Ridge Utah Development.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. If there's no more discussion, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thanks, Commissioners.
Thank you, Chad. Make sure you see Senator Jenkins on the way out, too. Item number 4, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Matthew Schechter for administrative law judge for employment appeals. Ms. Swan,
Good
did
morning.
did I say his last name correctly?
You did.
Thank you.
Good job. So we've been working on, well, I haven't been working on it, but the county's been working on this for quite a few years. We've been working on this since October, I personally have. We put out an RFP in October for an administrative law judge. We currently have a career service council. That council hears grievances from employees, so if you have an employee who's terminated or demoted or something that's grievable, this gives the career service council, if they have, let's say, a complex case, to refer it to an administrative law judge. So this contract will he will only be paid if he actually gets a case referred to him from that career service council. The rate's $125 per hour, which his normal rate is $295, so it's a discount on that. And he's obviously licensed in Utah. He's an employment litigator by trade.
Very good. Commissioners, any questions?
I'm happy to see this moving forward. I think this is a great step, so thank you.
And I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract between Weber County and Matthew Schechter.
Very good. Have a motion
Second.
and a second. There's no more discussion. All in favor?
I think you should have to say the name.
Yeah, go ahead. Second for.
Schechter.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We're on item number G, which is our public comments. If you, any of the public would like to address the commission, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please state your name and your address, sir, for the record.
Yes, my name is Trent Nelson. I work for Roy City. The address there is 5051 South, 1900 West. I'm actually the Justice Court judge there for the Roy Weber County Justice Court, so I'm a part of the system in the sense that I thought it was appropriate for me to come over and address you. I've been the judge there for about a year. I know there's been a long-standing relationship between Weber County and Roy City. I'm an employee of Roy City, but obviously I'm the judge for Roy City, unincorporated Weber County, West Haven, and Hooper. All of those jurisdictions are handled there in the Roy Justice Court. So I just thought it'd be appropriate to come up, give you a quick update on where we're at, kind of a state of the judiciary, just really briefly though. I think it's appropriate. I know the prior judge didn't come over and have a contact, but I think it is appropriate, so I'm wanting to do that. And just real briefly.
Great, thank you.
At the Justice Court level, we handle Class C and B misdemeanors and infractions and zoning violations. So DUIs, thefts, domestic violence related things, speeding, your grass is too long, those types of things. So there's a little bit of variety there that we handle, but it is criminal stuff that we handle there. Over the last 5 or 6 years, we've probably averaged about close to 8,000 filings a year. Last year, well, part of 2016, 2017, it dropped down from about 8,000 to 7,000. This last year, since I've been there, it's jumped up to 9,000. So over the prior year, before I was there, it jumped up 28%. I think it was 28%. But over the historical last 5 or 6 years, it's jumped up 12%. So it's a big increase. We don't know if that's going to maintain that. I think it probably will. But that's one of the things we've had a challenge there. We've had increased court dates, 32% court time that we're actually in court, 32% since prior to me being there. Once I got there, I'm like, this isn't fair. We're having new filings. It's not for the defendants. It's not fair to the parties, the attorneys, the witnesses, that they're sitting so long in court. So we spread out the court time and had different schedules so people don't have to wait as long. I think that's a better customer service, if you want to say it that way. Really briefly, I know I've only got 3 minutes, so real briefly, one of the things that courts, one of the things I'm pushing there is to have people accountable. A lot of times people would get a DUI and have to do some treatment, and it wouldn't happen, or they wouldn't respond to their payment schedules or their community service, and things just slid by the way. I don't think that helps anybody. I think if people take responsibility and are held accountable for their actions, they're much more likely to comply. They're much more likely to change. One of my goals is to help people not graduate to district court. So we've got these misdemeanors, we've got an issue. Let's help them so they don't graduate to district court. We're having additional negative impacts on families, communities, and the government, everybody. So I think holding people accountable is one of the things that I'm trying to do to help people improve in that area. One of the measures that we get is how long a case takes from the filing to when there's a disposition, either because they've pled guilty or they're found not guilty or they're found guilty. So this case starts until there's a disposition. Obviously there's going to be treatment and things like that, probation afterwards, but they track that window, and there's some timelines on how much you should average over a certain amount of time to get to that point. It's kind of how efficient your court is. When I started, the numbers were around 70 to 74% of our cases were being disposed of within the recommended time amounts. The goal set by the state judiciary is 95. So that was a long ways below it. Through the last year, we've really pushed, we're up to 87%. So we're still below the 95, but it's significantly better in my view than the 74. And that's something that I'm accountable for and I'm responsible for that. So that's something that I'm pushing the best I can. And those are goals set by the state judiciary, those things that we're trying to, one objective thing we're trying to do to help the citizens and move forward with that. Really briefly, then I'll open up to any questions you have. I know you didn't know I was coming, but a couple other quick things. Some of the challenges we have, one is the growth, the huge impact of increased filings. There was an article a few weeks ago in the Standard Examiner that talked about the Weber County Sheriff deputies and writing more tickets and things like that. That's had an impact on us too. I don't know all the reasons. I have some ideas, but all the reasons why everything's happening. But at bottom line, there is a significant increase. I think it's probably going to maintain that. There's been an increase in unincorporated Weber County, but also Roy, West Haven, and Hooper, every one of those jurisdictions. And most of those are Weber County deputies. But even Roy City has had a big increase in the number of filings. So it's something we're working with. We're doing the best we can to help the citizens in this area. So that's been growth has been a challenge. We've also had a lot of turnover in our clerks. I know Weber County and also Ogden City has had a lot of turnover just internally in terms of having personnel leave, and having to train new people. That's something we've had a challenge with. We have 4 clerks. We lost 3 of them in the last month. So, and I don't think it's me. I'm putting that on the record. I don't think it's me. One person retired, one person moved out of state, and another one actually moved too. So they're not. I don't think it's because of us. I hope not. But anyway, that's one of the challenges we're working with. So that's kind of the state of the judiciary with respect to how we're handling it. I know that Weber County has filed a little while ago, and I don't want to get into details of this, but we are aware that there was a request, a petition to change your affiliation with Roy Justice Court to a different organization, to a couple different, and it's not my job to talk about that or push it one way or the other, but that is something that has kind of left us in the hanging a little bit structurally, just in terms of hiring new employees. How many do we hire? Because we might be losing a chunk of our case filings. But that's just one of our little challenges. I'm not saying to do things, anything one way or the other. I can't be political, and I don't want to be political in my role as the judge there. So those are the challenges where we're going. I think we have some great support there at Roy City, giving us the support that we need. So we think it's moving in the right direction. As I look over your 5 banners here of your mottos of public trust, customer service, those are the same types of things I'm trying to instill. So there's a confidence in the judiciary. And nothing against the commissioners, but people are most likely to interact with the government through the justice court. That's where citizens are going to have the most contact with the government, is through the justice court, either as a defendant or as a victim, as a witness. So I think it's very important that that face of the government treats everyone fairly across the board. Everyone's treated fairly. And those are the type of things that I think are important for me. So I've gone more than my 3 minutes. Any questions, and then I'll sit down.
Commissioners, any questions? I would just say to your statement a couple of things. We appreciate you being here and giving us a state of the judicial system, so to speak. Would encourage you to do that again in a presentation format. We'll get you on the schedule. Shelley Hallisey back there, raise your hand, Shelley, so you know she's available in our commission office. And speaking of that, you mentioned that most people come in contact with their government through their judges. This is a perfect opportunity to say, doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to do a crime to get in front of the judge. You can talk to one of the commissioners anytime, and you don't have to do a crime to talk to us. And so we're a lot more friendly probably to talk to, and we don't put on the robe, but.
Well, that works too.
Too fast everywhere just to go see you.
So I would anticipate once a year stopping by, and I'll get on the calendar next time or the agenda.
That would be great. That would be super.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
No. Commissioners, thank you. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Your Honor Nelson, I don't know how that would be it. Trent, thank you. Is there any other public? Mr. Fowers, anything you'd like to say? Thank you. Very good. Then I'll entertain a motion for item H, Commissioners.
Move that we adjourn.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Appreciate it.